officially open this meeting of the East China Park Commission at 7:02 p.m. Let's get to it. We were supposed to have agendas here and everything.
You want to go look in the box?
You want a copy, or you have?
I printed
Yeah,
off a
fine.
copy.
I printed off a copy.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Fred?
Fred Sharp, present.
Pam Kill?
Don Wills present.
Evelyn Tolles.
Bill Westerhoff, present.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to read the agenda?
Yes.
I'll make
I
a
have.
motion for
Approving it?
approval, yep.
Okay.
Support.
Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting?
I have.
Does anybody want to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
In favor.
We have a guest speaker here anywhere? No. Any public comment? No. Financial reports. Did everybody read the financials you were sent?
Yes.
I wish Deanna was here. I had a few questions on some of the things on the bills, but I will directly email her and get back to you at the next meeting. Not that anything bad, and
No, just
obviously
wondered.
that was under Cindy, so we need to realign. As a matter of fact, I talked to Dwayne several days ago. I was over here, and I asked, now, where is Deanna going to be assigned? Back to the Park Commission or under the BOT here?
I was gonna cover that under my update, but we discussed it at our we had a special workshop on Monday at 6 o'clock, and we were talking about that, and it's gonna be Dwayne. Well, not 100% for sure yet, but that's what it sounds like.
It's
Well,
not us.
As long as the Park Commission has a degree of control, because under the state law, that is what it says. Even under the Township Parks and Recreation Act, it refers to it totally of that. So we have to have some input, and we need to know what's going on. For example, the bills and things like that. So,
Right. And that was something else that was discussed too, is Dwayne is gonna work on communicating better and that kind of thing, so I mean, I think it's.
well, you know, I've talked to Dwayne. He seems easy to deal with, and he's keeping track of the Wade Trim survey, which we haven't gotten back from Wade Trim, but when I talked to the guy, John Tanner at Wade Trim, he said, well, we're doing a lot of surveys right now, so we're probably the smallest little thing in the pile, so whenever we get the survey, we can go forward with the dog park, just to be on the safe side of Eagle. Not that we may need it totally, but if we do, then we've got all of our paperwork in order, so.
Can you explain that in a little more detail, what's going on with the?
Okay, the dog park floods, you know that.
Right.
Okay. We talked about it over and over. We were talking about different methods of draining it. I've contacted the Drain Commission. They're open to no problems with us as long as we don't touch the Rankin drain or work within 40 feet of it without acknowledging them. And there are specific instructions for installing the drain tile. That's all in the email. If you want me to send that to you, I'll be happy to.
No, that's fine.
But anyway, what it comes down to is basically Eagle has certain restrictions on the amount of fill you can put in a floodplain, and we are in a floodplain in the park. And I'm still trying to get the documentation as to who declared it a floodplain, when, where, what. The people at Wade Trim apparently have some records. He said he was asking for them from the archives, but we're small fry in there, you know.
Don't we have a city engineer or a township engineer
We
or
do.
somebody?
Wade Trim is one of them.
Okay, all right, well, then they should have the information, I would
And
think.
Dwayne's keeping track of it. You know, I
mean,
told him
yeah.
all of this, and so.
I have a little bit of history as a professional engineer, and so, I mean, this kind of information should be available.
It should be here, and we should have it for.
Can I please comment to that?
Sure.
So sometimes you want information that is archived, and you can't just pick up the phone
No.
No, I understand.
and say, give me the information. You have to wait a little while till they can get it back to you, and that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, got it, got it.
Oh, I know that. And,
So it's
you know,
there, it's there, we're just trying to.
You just said it will
Yeah,
take
we're
them
working on it.
whatever. And I, you know, we are such small fry when it comes to the overall size of wage trim that we're just going to have to be patient.
Yeah, we're paying them, I assume.
But at least I got it in and I
Well,
keep track
then
of
we ought to
it.
be just as big a fry as anybody else, I mean.
Yeah.
True, but not quite. You know, we're not bridges, we're not infrastructure. You know, so I keep it in perspective. So that's mostly the communications on that. Of course, the township manager is no longer here. And, you know, we have the question about where Deanna's, yep.
So then are we gonna,
Oh, you are here, all right,
are
good.
we waiting for them to get back to us on a recommendation? Or what, I mean, where do we stand with getting that fixed then?
Getting, oh, the dog park?
Yeah,
Can't do anything until we get that aerial survey.
so the
For which
survey
we will
is
pay
one that.
$4,000 just for the dog park.
Okay,
But it will be geologically correct.
and we have paid for that, or we are paying for that?
Last month,
We are gonna pay
That's what we voted on last
remember
month.
last month, we voted to do it, so yeah.
And that's what we need is documentation, so once we, you know, have documentation in hand, we can decide how we're gonna drain it or fill it or whatever, because so far, things have just been spot filled all along the park, and we really need that whole background on the park to know where we should be doing more
Right,
leveling, whatever, so.
thank you.
And it so happens the park manager just walked in the door.
Let her take a breath. Maybe we should flip to the liaison first while she gets her
There you
computer
go.
on and
That's a
stuff.
good idea.
Yeah, Alan, why don't you go first?
All right. So, as you guys know, the township manager left, so we're in the middle of restructuring the way that it is. We kind of already talked about that, but then on June 30th, we're going to have a special meeting to discuss that at 5 PM. And then at our next regular meeting, that's when they'll decide what's going on. The DPW building is canceled due to costs, and the township audit is wrapping up. That's pretty
The
much.
DPW building is canceled due to costs?
Yeah, it's quadruple, triple, quadruple the cost what they expected, so. And that was gonna be over here, but, so we're gonna be figuring out what's going on.
Can I make suggestions?
Sure.
I'm not DPW, and I'm not certain what your requirements are, but for the management, administrative, whatever areas, buy several tiny homes from Amazon, link them together, put them on a concrete foundation, make sure they're focused down into the foundation so they don't blow away. You know, hook them up to everything, and you will have your administrative foundation. And then go to Menards or other similar building facilities and get a big bomb. And do the same thing, pour your concrete foundation, make sure your structure's adequately anchored.
It's funny you said that, because they did get, one of their quotes was at Menards, so it's like, it was still pretty expensive.
Well, I can still tell you it's probably a whole bunch less than, you know, doing it all from scratch.
Right,
And you would have something at least for them.
yeah.
So make use of Amazon and Menards.
Is there any questions or anything, or?
I do.
Sure.
With regard to that DPW building not being moved, renewed, or built, so then that leaves that basketball court over there, and someone on the board mentioned to me, or asked me, what is going on
The old
with
tennis
that.
courts, in other words.
Sorry, tennis court.
Yep, yep.
Where does that leave that now?
Well, if I recall correctly, that's still considered a park in our master plan, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong on that. They might have changed it this last time we approved the master
When
plan.
you say they,
The
who can change what
planning commission and our.
what we were voted in? Who can change what we were voted in to oversee?
No, only the people.
Okay.
They'd have to petition for it, if that's what you're talking about. Are you talking about the park
No,
commission?
maybe I didn't ask it the right way. Who exactly can tell a park commissioner that that's not something that is under their commission? Who is the
I
name of
really
that
don't
person?
know, to be honest with you, I don't.
All
I
right.
don't know.
So it's still our park.
You gotta go read
Seems
the
we're
park
getting
law.
stuck there.
And I don't.
Seems like someone thinks that it's not under our fold, and it is under our fold.
If you sign
All right.
and say,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
veer off, but
You're
I'm
good.
just trying to, while we're on front of public, I would like to ask questions like that sometimes.
Right.
All right.
Just to go a little further with this, Alan, so since the DPW building's not going to be constructed there, is there going to be a determination as to what's going to happen with that property or what's going to go on over there? Or-
I mean, I think they'd probably be willing to entertain ideas. I mean, over the last couple of years, a lot of
That's
people have
okay.
asked about that, like people who used to play tennis there.
Yeah, well, we're looking for a spot for pickleball court.
Yeah.
Probably easily, I mean, you got the base already, so that might be a
This
nice.
is for you to
So
solve.
is that,
Yeah.
just a possibility, yeah.
I know I'm really behind, but is that where the DPW building was going to go?
Yes.
Court, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it looks like the pickleball court gets a lot of play, I mean, certainly in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Probably use more of them. Yeah.
That's what I
Definitely.
think, more pickleball, especially for our age of our, for our community. Playscape is a big deal for the grandkids, but pickleball's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
each other's pens.
Pam, can I ask you, where are we on the agenda right now?
We are on, we got the park manager's report.
Before we get to that, I'd like to say that I went and walked parks, because we all want to do it. So today I did it, so it's fresh in my memory. I walked pickleball, I walked basketball, I walked the dog park, I walked the playscape. I actually almost played on the playscape. I thought that it was like a full-blown emergency that we tackle these problems immediately, but I can see that there is time. We don't have to, you get your chance. We don't have to patch everything. It's those cracks that we were talking about last month. Not necessary. Not necessary for probably the next 30 years, I would suppose. I'm not by any means an engineer, or a structural engineer, but I can tell you my best look at it, I would suggest that we don't have to worry about it as, but it's an emergency.
Which part?
Pickleball.
The cracks in the pickleball court.
But that's not even a pickleball court, that's a converted tennis court, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, I guess we have to determine how much money do we want to put aside this year for the playscape or the dog park? How much for next year? What's more important, the playscape or the pickleball? And they should be totally renovated because they need to be official. I mean, they're not really, are they? I mean, aren't they just kind of converted? Yeah. I mean, I get not spending any money on it if we don't need to, because it was a lot of money, but
Well, I talked to.
I think our priority needs to know, like, what's our priority?
I had talked to one of the members of the pickleball, people who play there. She said this is kind of an unofficial loose group that plays there. And that's greatly used. And I told her that there are grants available, but only to pickleball organizations, not to us. So I encouraged her to talk to her people, because I don't know how many of them there are or whatever, but I do know you've said that it's pretty heavily used. Get together as a group and then file for the grants. We can't be involved in certain areas, but to get a grant to get a new course would be wonderful.
How do we get funded? I guess I just,
We get funded from the BOT once a year.
The Board of Trustees.
Board of Trustees, which are you guys.
Yep.
And so we would put together a proposal, I guess, if we wanted to, new pickleball courts or whatever, right?
Yep.
We
And
put
then you would
together,
decide to fund that or not.
Correct. And I think, honestly, I think if there's a detailed thing, if you guys bring, I think it would go a long way in saying, like, the playscape and stuff, and the pickleball courts, all that kind of stuff, like, if you had a list,
Yeah,
and then at that point, we know what's going on, rather than just saying, I just want 500 grand, and it's like, but for what?
right, I agree, yeah. So I'm just wondering if that's kind of where we ought to maybe
well, we
focus.
started, the budget request I put in at the end of last year for this year was $200,000. And it was specific by the park.
Yeah, right.
Each and every, which I thought, and based on past expenses that we were going to use. The BOT cut us down to 120, and then we got the county contribution of about 15,000.
Right.
So we were cut 80,000 from what I projected that we were going to need. So we are already compromised in some areas. But that doesn't stop us from putting together the proposal to go to them. But the question is, if we can get the pickleball people to do it and get that money coming through a grant from the pickleball group, that would be preferable. It would be also preferable if we could have gotten some of the other grants. Unfortunately, it's too late to file for them this year. There's two big ones out there that could be used, particularly one of them for the playscape, if not both. Which I doubt they would do, but at least one.
Was that the matching grant? Because if
Some
it's
of them
matching, that
have
gets it harder.
30% contributions, some have, it varies by the grant, how much we would be asked to contribute. But at least, like one of them, we could get up to 400,000, which would literally take care of a new playscape, I think.
I'm sorry, does it have to be matched?
No. There's a certain percentage, and it goes by the grant.
Again, it's like every month we say the same thing. But to do that, you have to have it totally projected already and then submit. And that's always it. We got to have the money, we got to have the backing, then we go to them and we say it. And that's always been the problem, so.
Do we know where the money's going to go this year?
Yes.
Yep.
So can you help me determine how that is?
I remember that pamphlet that Cindy gave you, like the projected 5-year plan and all that stuff she gave you. It's kind of a colored.
I'm sure I have it.
Yeah,
I'm sure I have it.
in there. In there is for the 2025 that we voted on.
But for example, I can tell you right off of this. So we put out in the budget $40,000 for Kevin's Lawn Care, because that's what they agreed to for the annual cost, and that
Yep.
includes snow removal.
Okay.
So we already know some of these right off the bat. We can never guess at the revenue because we don't know how much people are going to be coming in and doing things. So you can never guess at energy bills and things like that. Some of these you can guess at. Some of them are our problem, except for like part-time employees in the park. Some of them are just basic things, which we can and cannot do much about. So, but as you can see on the capital outlay improvements, that's where we've already put some things. Okay, the Gaga Pit is done. Whoop, good. Disc golf, I don't think we're going to do anything more with that. Deanna? Are we doing anything more with
I
disc
believe we
golf?
have some money budgeted, so if we do, it would be more T-pads.
And what are we projecting for that?
I thought we approved $4,000 for those, or something like that, or $10,000 for the multiple.
Yeah, I just want to know
Yeah.
where we're at, kind of. Okay, because this is not showing us everything that we kind of need to know that way. So basically, what you're looking at when you look at what we think we're going to be doing, this is what you're using as guidance.
Capital improvement, yeah.
But realistically, like things like River Park, they haven't even started on it. And we don't even know when that's going to be started on, but that should have been started because it was supposed to be started this spring, or at least with good weather. So maybe you can enlighten us on that, Alan?
Are we getting ahead of our agenda?
Yes, we are. but
Let's
that's-
go back.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I would love to stay on the agenda.
Well, that would be under, well, we got Township Liaison, Park Manager. Did you want to give a report?
She gave us the paper.
I guess it's just if there's any questions on what.
That you have on this, right?
Yeah, I do have a question on the pickleball courts. Did you manage to find somebody who will take care of the crack repair like you suggested in here? Have you contacted anyone? or-
No, because I just did this
Okay,
a couple of days.
so that's a better way to go then, do you think, than?
Yeah,
just-
so I don't feel that, and I've never felt that it's an emergency to fix those cracks. It's been declared to us as unsafe by some of the players who
Yeah.
want to see them better.
Okay,
But I don't feel it would last much longer without doing something to
Okay.
them.
Mhm.
And the reason being is there is zero drainage beneath those. That
Yeah.
Those are very old basketball courts. That's
Mhm.
original asphalt, no drainage installed that I'm aware of.
right,
It was when we put those pickleball nets in, the water level, the whole pipe underground is full of water all year long.
Hmm.
So if we don't at least seal the water out from getting in them over the winter, what's now level cracks that are tripping hazards are
Yeah.
gonna keep.
okay.
Can I expand on that? Because I just walked those courts. And I guess what I'm asking is, should we prepare to fix those cracks at the end of the season?
Yes, I would say sooner than later, because basically when we redid these, the Goddard coating said these cracks are never gonna stop going.
Right.
They're not gonna get any wider because of the expansion tape they put on them, but they will always keep going longer because there's nothing stopping them.
Water and
But they
ice.
will just keep cracking.
We can't, so I thought that it'd just be good if we just fix the cracks now, and then when I walked it, I realized that if we put a bunch of tar on there, and then expect people to run around with rackets, and they're gonna get hurt.
Yes.
So they're
that's what my
safer, so
report-
it's safer now. So what I'm asking you is, at the end of the year, should we put some money aside for that?
What the recommendation was to me in my report was not to use the tar because it is gonna be sticky. That will cause a tripping hazard. So what was recommended to me was to fill those cracks almost full with salt and then fill the rest of them with caulk, some sort of an asphalt caulk.
Have you been working on that so we can do that?
Like I said, I just did this report, like this, I
Oh,
just
okay.
met with the guy
Okay.
Friday.
So you're working on it?
No.
Gotcha. No, I mean, you're still trying to get to, yeah, you're working
I
on it.
just met with them
Right.
last Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to add to this report that Deanna, you did a phenomenal job at the picnic. I mean, not picnic, oh my goodness.
Appreciation.
Yes, the Parks Appreciation Day. Yeah, it was very well done, and the organization and the plants and the color coding of the plants was phenomenally done. Yeah, and there were a lot of good resources there. I wish the turnout was better, and I had a question about that. How in advance do we, I mean, I guess we were trying to place the dates, so we really didn't have any advance notice to the public, right? Because I remember we changed the
You
dates.
know, we don't have a good way of getting to the public. So Channel 6, I don't really know who's frequenting Channel 6 anymore. A lot of people said that they didn't even know how to get on Channel 6. So I don't know if there's a way that we can advertise that on like our township website, saying like, you know,
Yep.
this is advertised via Channel 6, or how that works.
Like, who's in charge of our website, or who makes edits and routine?
I can edit the park page. We just upgraded the website, and it literally as of the end of last week. So we're all still kind of updated.
Okay.
But the township end, I think, is Dwayne and Wendy.
Okay. But the township, that's like the first page we go on, and I think that would be like a great, just having it like a little blurb.
There's a whole new way of doing things, that they can set that first picture to be like a scrolling thing,
Oh,
that's on the main
Yes.
page, and I feel like anything that's like new information
Yes.
should be scrolling, not just like a picture of the township hall, but
Yeah.
scroll through
Yes.
like upcoming events, or hey, we have like a water shut off, or something, you know, that's like continuously
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
moving.
Alan, maybe that's something you guys could talk and like have that, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to be like an action that we can have prepared for at least by the next 1 to 2 months. So that at least by the time we get to the picnic in the fall, we have a better turnout.
Yeah.
Like last year, Sandy Smith, our clerk, did a nice annual, well, I thought it was annual, but the mailer that went out, that gave like an
Yes.
update and everything. Like I know in Kimball, they do their whole year's worth of events, anything that's planned. So if it's stuff like the picnic that we know is the same date every year, or like if this is gonna be an annual, so long as we have a committee and help, because I will not be planning
Yeah.
the entire thing and orchestrating it myself. That's way too much work. But those are things that they could be advertised like whenever you want to get them out there, because it's going to be the same day.
So would you say, looking towards next year, we already have the parks, like the picnic at the same time, September, I think, 3rd Saturday of the month or something. Would you say the appreciation day as well? I mean, granted, if we have help, like, hopefully, you know.
I would say advertise it if it ends up being canceled because we can't get participation to help orchestrate the event, then at least we had it out there and people were aware of it.
Yes, so then do you think those two things that we can at least create, right? Okay, and those are the two main things that we do for now. We'll see where it goes from there. Okay. Maybe that's something, Alan.
I mean, I think
the
the
website.
website's great, all that kind of stuff, and people still talk about posting in newspapers. Nobody really reads the newspaper anymore, but it's like,
No, of course not.
you know, she brought up a good idea, and a lot of people talked about, like, where's our social media? It's like, and that's part of, I think, if somebody on the board wants to take that up, I don't know, but like.
Like, I don't mind taking up maybe, I don't know about Facebook, maybe Facebook, but I feel like someone else is already running that. We have not been able to establish any contact with them, and
He's
so if,
not gonna give that up. Anybody can go say, open a Facebook account under, East China Dog Park. It doesn't matter if it's
but shouldn't it be I feel like it would be a verified because it's government
You
entity.
have to be verified, but there's like a whole process to go through that. So if you see that it's not verified, it's the same guy who's got Cottervilles and lots of other, I think he's even Port Hurons and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, like
If
I
you were
am,
thinking of doing that, you would probably just want to use that as like a platform to just show
Advertise.
events.
Yes.
Like, and shut all comments off. Don't
Yes.
allow people to comment, and nobody's having to monitor the page and like respond, like if there's questions or information wanted.
Direct
But
them
now
to
go
here.
onto our website or
Yeah.
contact the parks manager or whomever, but then you're not having to fight off any bad business.
okay, I don't mind, I don't know about Facebook. I can do Instagram.
I think that's board approval for something like that, though.
Right? We do?
I would think so. You're also getting yourself into, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Really?
Yes.
Can I make a
It's just,
suggestion?
the only thing
'Cause
that
that
I'll
was
say
just-
though is that's really where people are though. It's like,
I agree,
Yeah.
I agree, but
What sort of liability, or like what?
I'll discuss it with you later.
Okay.
Because I'll have to tell you about what we came across with the organization I'm in, and it's a lot more work than you think. You can go ahead and put whatever you want on your,
Right.
but you're throwing yourself
Okay,
for,
let's talk about that later. Okay, so sorry,
let's talk about.
you know the blurb or the thing that Sandy did? Maybe we can just do that at like around the holidays or like January time or something, Happy holidays from, or Merry Christmas or something, Happy New Year or something from the township. And then let them know about these two events coming up the next year or something in the spring so that
That's
it's.
maybe something you should bring up to the Board of Trustees, because they're the ones who, that run this whole thing. And it benefits them, so they
Right.
should be the ones to
Well, I
really.
was hoping Alan could be like my.
Well, then I guess you tell Alan we want
Yeah.
to
Okay,
bring
that's
it,
what.
bring
Okay,
to her
Alan, that's what we
attention.
would like, please.
It
so
isn't
that
a
you
us
are adding-
thing.
Yeah, and I
add
think
it to the newsletter.
Is there going to be a newsletter?
Could I please make a suggestion?
We don't have to do a newsletter.
It was
It doesn't need to be a newsletter, that's too much work.
It is
Just-
in our budget. It is in our budget, but
It's too much work. I feel like just doing like a little,
Postcard.
yeah.
I'll tell you though, I'm the one, and I'm all over Facebook and everything else, but I say, when we would pass out flyers and letters, our residents would fill them out, and we'd get lots of response. When you had to do it with, a code or a phone, everybody pitched them in the garbage. So
Okay.
if you want a good response, I think a bulletin letter,
Yes.
that I get from the St. Clair County Parks and stuff.
That's what,
You read it, I put it on my calendar, and I'm happy for the year. And I
Yes.
think that we should be able to do a calendar of events for the township, but it's more of a,
We used to have that many years.
yes, yeah.
They actually had a calendar.
yeah,
Came out to people.
the beautification commission.
oh, okay.
I mean, there's lots of avenues, but I
Yeah.
think that's the quickest
We did,
way,
I remember now. Dang.
So we have a marquee out there, right? We spent a small fortune on it, right? Can we just,
That's
there's
true,
gonna be a
too.
park party coming up or
It was
something?
on there,
It
and I
was?
even asked her to take everything else off that was scrolling, and just for the last few days, and
And
just
that's
put
it.
that on there.
That wasn't the
Like, left
answer.
hand
it's way too, it's too dangerous
Yeah,
on
banner.
Exactly.
that corner.
You
Liability.
can't, yeah, you can't read that when you're driving like 50 plus miles here. Like,
Not unless you hit the brakes and cause an accident because the
Exactly.
person is tailgating you.
so it's
50
not.
plus, huh?
Okay, sorry, we totally went off track, but I was just gonna say Deanna did a phenomenal job, as she usually does at the appreciation.
I do have a report that I'm putting together, like I had it in this, but then it made this like over 2 pages long. And I know you guys would be like, no, I'm not reading that. So I cut all of that out of there, but for future, we need to have a committee. Like, there's no doubt about it. I cannot run what I'm supposed to be doing here and staff and everything that's my obligations and setting all those aside to focus like so many hours on this. But we did have huge support from local contractors, Kevin's Lawn Care, Hunter Electric, Timbers, Gardens and Beyond gave us stuff, the Lumberjacks gave us stuff, Blue Ribbon, Greenhouse, who else? One of my employees' mothers offered a bouquet of flowers. So we had a lot of support, which is nice. I just wish we had that support from our end. And I got the word out for everybody to have enjoyed it. But I did have, Amanda Ruffini came in from SISMA, and I had community service show up of, I think we had 18 to 20 something people, the biggest crew I've had in a very long time. And she ran the crew for 2 hours from 10 to 12 in the Rankin County drain that runs through the big part of the park. And they pulled out 500 pounds of invasive species out of that ditch. 500 pounds
That's
in
impressive.
2 hours.
Very
So,
impressive.
and they keep track of that because then they win things for the county and stuff for who does the most community service type thing. But so on that end, I do feel like it was a big success because we got rid of some of the cow parsnip that people keep misinterpreting as that giant hogweed that's makes you super itchy. So we got rid of it even though it's native, just because the disc golfers throw and there's literal paths going through those and they make you really itchy. So I did decide to take those out of there, but other than that, it was a success minus the turnout. That was awful. I do need to ask the park commission to, I know it said it that you discussed the locomotive location. Can I get a verbal approval or vote for that location moving forward?
No, we did
Where
not.
is the location?
The last month's meeting is you were not here and no one, so we didn't know exactly where it was. So this month's meeting was going to be over there so that
Oh.
we could see where placement was.
Did the map make it to you guys?
But I did get a map, so, yeah.
It did.
And that's a good location according to everyone who looked at it and talked to him.
Yeah, we all like it. It's just we gotta go over there and look at it.
We don't have to.
Well, we just
Well,
wanted.
now I have my staff put, like, we built like a billboard out of like leftover wood that we had and painted it. I have like a big coming soon banner, but I don't have anything stapled. They're just, what's coming? And I'm like, a locomotive, but I gotta get the stuff up. So I just finished designing the banners for the locomotive today. I have to fine tune it, but I'll get those on order. We should have those by Monday. I'm trying to make them as like in your face as I can without too much. So we're gonna put like a 10 by, what's 50 inches? That, over right in front of the locomotive.
4 feet, 10 by 4.
There you go. Then we're gonna put another one at the corner, opposite of the corner of the park, for traffic going this way, because our corner is too congested to be putting banners, like you don't see them, like you're looking at all the other stuff behind it. Excuse my allergies. So we're gonna put a big one there, and then we're gonna put another one that's a matching banner, but smaller, at our coming soon location, and on that board is where I'll staple laminated updates of what's going on and when it's coming and such. But my main idea for putting it there was you would be able to see that train coming from this way, the way that it would be on an angle. You'd see it from River Road, Rico Road, and almost every location of the main part. So it would be high vis, and I feel like we'd have less issues with vandals and things.
And like no issues with drainage or anything around the area?
That's a high hump there, actually. It does sit high and below. It was originally, I think, I want to say a gravel like parking area, because there is a lot of packed gravel. But either way, they're digging that whole area out. So I've been talking to Bill, and they want to break ground in July on putting the basin and the tracks in for the installation. So that's why I was looking to get approval for the actual locomotive location from you today.
Well, then I'll make a motion.
Second.
For, yeah?
Yes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So then the tracks go in July, and then the locomotive itself will go in August? Or?
I don't know that he's meeting, because the actual move is much more entailed. They are going to have like DTE out there with lifts, getting the power poles lifted up, and we're gonna have sheriffs stopping traffic. It's gonna be like a huge to-do. So that's probably gonna be something that we're gonna publish, so that anybody, because this is like a one-time thing.
Right.
So I'm sure that we're gonna have a lot of bystanders that wanna take pictures and document it and things like that. So he's gonna be meeting with everybody who's included, because they gotta crane it on, and they have the person who's trailering it, and it's like a really big process, even though it's coming from like right across the road.
So maybe not before the picnic, or possibly? Any idea?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's gonna organize that within his meeting with all of them within the next 2 weeks. So I'm hoping to know, because I said the sooner the better, then we can start advertising it on the
Yes.
website and wherever we can on our billboard that we made. So,
Not to prolong this, but can I ask just, do you have an idea how long, like, DTE has to come in and move power lines? Do you have any, like, is that a one-day process? Is it a?
it'll be like during the moment of the move. They're gonna sit there, and then the
So
trailers-
one day, so,
Yeah, like
Okay.
it'll be just the duration of them pull it down around the corner. That's it. And then sheriffs will be, I'm assuming the sheriffs will be blocking traffic.
so one day to get it from there to here is all it'll take, right?
Should.
Okay.
Actual placement, getting it like set and all that, I don't know, but
Okay.
I would assume it would be a matter of half a day to get it.
No. Sorry, I was just curious.
But I don't know, I'm not involved in that part of the planning.
Oh, another question. Did the pheasants people finally show up at the appreciation day?
He was not able to make it. I didn't hear from him until afterwards, but he did reach out saying that he feels that Pheasants Forever will probably foot the bill for the entire plant, because the whole area has to be basically killed off just in case there is any invasive plants, but it would also be easier to disc it up, so then he's gonna find local farmers to disc it, pack it, plant it, do it the right way so that it's all native plants off the get-go. So they're thinking that they will be, I'm kind of glad he didn't, because it's such a long ways to come for really, I mean, you saw Bill there. Bill did come, they're very kind of him for the locomotive. But he is gonna show up with their own Pheasants Forever signage or whatever for our, because we made the same matching billboard with Coming Sioux sign over there. So he's gonna put something from them on that post, and it's still planned for fall. We just haven't been able to touch bases.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, we covered pickleball repairs. How about fishing rod holders?
What's that?
Request from some people to me. They're looking to see, and I think they mentioned it to you too, Don, didn't they?
Well, yeah, let me clean it up for you a little bit. We're at the river park on the fence line right against the river, where the gate is that keeps people from falling in the river. Right there on that seawall, they're going to weld what they would like us to do is weld some pieces of metal that you can sit your fishing rod in so that it doesn't fall into the river. And
Just River Park?
Sorry?
Just River Park, or are we gonna do it at all the water
Well, that's a very
parks?
good question.
Because if you do it there, you should put some down at this end too.
That's good, yeah.
If you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah, might as well.
River Park is going to be undergoing whenever.
Right,
You know,
so
so
a couple fishing rod, you know, yeah. Good
And
idea.
literally, that only leaves us with the small park up there, which is very, very few frequented. And Manor Park doesn't have any water exposure, so.
So we're only talking 2 parks, right? The one across from
You said
Barwood and the
all
one...
parks. We have 6
No.
parks, remember?
Yes, but not by the water. I mean, why do you need a fishing pole over there?
There is a small park,
It's like
Rivera Park.
across from the Bell River Road. I mean, oh my God, the Bree Road, like on St. Clair.
If you went up
You're
here,
talking about that one, right?
yeah, if you went up here and took right up Bray Road,
I will look to see how much that would be from mobile welder.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna make a priority, but it is something that we were going to do when we had that wall or sea railing installed. But for some reason, I can't remember why it didn't happen. I think it went in too late in the year or something, and we stopped working on it. But I don't feel like that's gonna be a huge expense, and I know that it would be well received at both parts. But I'm not gonna give you a time of date when I will have that to you yet.
And then I just, Deanna, I'm sorry, I just remembered something else. Someone reached out to me and said that one of the bike stations' tire pump is not working.
We only have one, so.
I thought we had 2 oh my God, I thought we had 2. I told them there was another one to go look for the other one. Oops.
Oh my God. Well, there is one in Marine City.
in Marine
so it's not
City.
too far away.
Oh my God.
Don't make me laugh out
Oh
loud.
my God.
There's a guy using it this afternoon.
Yeah, it's if you don't really know how to use it,
Yeah.
you will deflate your tires. So I have had people report that it wasn't working, and it is.
Okay.
It's just a lot of times operator error. But
Okay,
I will have them look at it, make sure.
okay, thank you so much. So, sorry, where is it located though?
Right by the new kiosk, that pull in the park. Straight, you just kept going
I
straight.
didn't know, and I was like, there's a second one, I don't know where that is. Oh my God, okay. All right.
Our favorite activity, the playscape. Now, we need to come to a consensus. Are we going to replace this or not?
Do you mean by replace? You mean repair or
That's what the
replace?
choices are.
There's
See if
no
it's
way to
reparable or
repair
not.
it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no, it has to be replaced. I think that's what we've been discussing,
Yeah.
to replace it.
Yeah. Well, it's been since, what, 1998? And
Right.
we've been exposed to the elements. And as I understand, there's cracks in the structure. Not being a carpenter, I cannot subscribe to telling you whether or not those could be filled or whatever. So it's safety as far as I'm concerned. Is it safe or not? So this is another question that we need to answer. I'll ignore it. It's one of those that, what are we going to do about it, period? Because we have to, literally on that one, I'm going to have to go for grants, I think.
Okay, I hate to do this again. I don't think it was last month, but it was the month before. Again, you weren't.
I know, and we have to.
And I think we all voted to go with new, right? Like to remove anything that was dangerous, but to not continue repairing it to, because it's in our 5-year program, so.
As long as
next,
everybody's comfortable with that
Didn't
thought.
we do that?
It's
Did we vote on that?
2026, but she wasn't here, so we're doing it in 2026. It's already
Yeah.
earmarked,
We did.
and we are replacing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think like if any grants or anything, then we should kind of get started on that.
We have
now.
to.
So that, and I think we already have the books and we have what we would like it to be replaced with.
Not we, the public, what the public wants to see. This needs to be, this is a whole big process.
You have
It
to
needs
send out a
be
survey.
researched probably between this meeting and the next meeting by you guys, because I know you have, when is Maritime? August?
August, yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
But this is a process for the public. This is their voice to be heard and be implemented in what they want to see there.
But didn't we, I have it, didn't we send out a flyer? We took the survey and they broke it down?
I think it's still up at the place.
Yeah.
So they may still be putting,
Oh, little votes in here and there?
but there's still open meetings that you're gonna have to hold
Yeah.
with all of that. And I know that Leathers, the previous company, they actually got the schools involved.
Yeah.
Saying, well, draw a picture of your favorite, what you liked about the
Okay.
old one. Now draw a picture of what you'd like to see the new one look like, and they actually created the design out of what the kids wanted to see.
That's an excellent idea, and it's the only way that we're gonna do this. So,
What's the
how
time?
do I approach getting the public involved? I mean, in this building, what do I have to do?
I think they're already involved. We already have something there for them to be not filling out at the park, right? At the place.
No, I know something more
I
interactive.
feel like Cindy, we met with our engineers on a couple Zoom calls about the location of the current playscape. And I cannot remember what they did. They were going to create a concept for that entire section of the park.
But that's not the public.
Right. But I think that they have knowledge of how to start this project.
Ah.
They'll probably be able to best direct you.
Like structural knowledge?
No,
start with
to
the
tell you
concept.
The
how to start
whole
it.
process
The whole
of how to do this properly. It'll
Right.
probably have connections to good contractors or people, there's a whole process for this.
Well, we've been
Instead of
with the concept.
reinventing it, I feel like we should just go.
Yeah,
who
do you-
we know.
And do you remember who it was or how we?
Is it Wade Trim?
I believe so.
I believe it is. I'll have to go through my emails, because I thought Cindy had you all in on that email, but if not, I'll send it to you.
It does sound familiar to me too, Wade Trim. They're in a lot of, yeah. Yeah.
So I would recommend starting there and getting their input on where we should go from there, so that we're not doing a bunch of unnecessary work and starting over. Because there's a lot of legwork, and there's probably going to be committees needed for this whole process.
Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome, Don.
We already have told you the surveys for Wade Trim are behind, so we can't do anything on the dog park until we get that survey. So, talked to them not too long ago, and I talked to Dwayne, and he's keeping track of it too, so. Anybody got any other comments?
Yeah, I was going to add to what Kizrin said, and just thank you, Deanna, for that volunteer day over there. I thought it was very well organized, and we had some really nice things going on. And like you said, it's just too bad we didn't have a greater turnout.
I know, well, the weather was frigid. The wind was just whipping. I mean, it took all of us to hold the curtains just to get them, like, we had to screw them down, and it was, yeah. But I'm pretty proud of, like, how everything came together for it. We had a lot of good information to share. We had community mental health, all of the booklets that we've gotten and the bracelets with them. I had a whole mental health table there. We had a whole bike trail table with even that banner. I still have here. Put that up there. We had all kinds of fancy stuff up. So
Yeah.
I appreciate
Another possibility I suggested too is maybe get word out to the schools, you know, because parents are always looking for things to do with their kids. And we can just notify them, maybe put it in their newsletters or whatever they send out anymore. That might help as well.
Like for the picnic, if we get the blow up things there, for sure. Like the blow up,
See 'em
like
from the
this-
road.
Yes, like
I can't ever get that man to work. He takes too much power, and I can't even run with a generator. The guy that, like,
yes, yeah. Oh,
we're divided.
but what about
Yeah, there's better ones.
He's broken.
no?
Needs a patch.
But the township clerk is who is organizing the township picnic for this year, so
Oh, good.
my involvement will be minimal.
So then this is just sorry, Mr. Westerhoff, were you done?
Yes, I'm all
Okay,
set,
but
thank you.
I had another question. So what do we have two of in the park then? Are those the suntan lotion stations? Because did I mix that up with that? Because I'm so like,
There's been a lot of things that are like too close to the park.
I feel there was
We
like
do have
two.
yes, but both of those have been taken out as of last year because they kept getting vandalized. So I'm trying to find a replacement for them that's a little bit sturdier
Okay.
than what was installed. But yes, we did have two of those.
Right. Okay. I think that's what I was. Okay.
On that note, I have a question for you. How much vandalism are we getting in the park?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How much vandalism are we getting in the park?
This year, really minimal. Like, not worth reporting. Like, simple things in the bathrooms, just misbehaving. I mean, we've had some firework issues, but I'm addressing that by bringing trees in the bush out and up, so we can see the little hidden areas where people are doing things they shouldn't be, but it's been pretty good. Like, we've just had some issues, I think after there was a parade in Green City. I don't know what parade.
Memorial Day, maybe?
I don't know, but then we had like the slew of golf carts that came through and just thought they were like, it was just like a free-for-all. So golf carts, to anyone watching, are not permitted besides the parking lot. And just some of those mini bikes that have made their way down the paved path into the dirt paths, but it's been minimal. I think this year the hardest issue that we've had is just getting people out before closing.
Wow.
But I'm happy to say a lot of them are people who are first-time visitors, so that's nice to know that, you know, the word's getting out about us, so.
And disc golf has really taken off too, hasn't it?
Sure is,
I mean,
yeah.
I come out here any time of day and people are out here
All
on the
day
course,
long, that's
yeah.
what pickleball is anymore too.
Yeah,
It's not just
right.
specific age groups. We've got like teenagers, like we have the morning crew, and then we have the afternoon crew of all the young ones, and they play for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, they fill all the courts. But
Yeah, it's great.
Real quick, Pam, the financial report, did you guys vote on that or no?
I don't.
We did not. I noticed she skipped over that.
Yeah, we're bouncing all over that agenda.
Of course we are. That's the way we normally do. The only thing I had, Deanna, were just a couple of questions about some large expenses, semi-large expenses, and we're not getting any notifications about them. When you look at the individual expenses, you're looking at why are we putting out the usual is not a problem, but we are actually putting out some more on basically things like I know the lawn care. We had like, what is the First National Bank for $275? And then you had the First National Bank of Omaha again for 200 some odd dollars.
That's my credit card, so those are credit cards.
And that's all things for the park.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I'll go to Dollar General, for example, if we like run out of little garbage bags that handle like all of the waste dispensers, small size ones, or water for the staff, or general random items. But like you may see a $1 amount, but there's probably a huge amount of items behind that.
And she is up to 600, so.
2,000.
Oh, you do?
I thought it was 500 forever, but I was just informed it was 2,000.
Huh, nice.
Wait, are you talking about what she's talking about?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Are you talking she can spend up to 600 without having to tell us?
On one item.
Yeah. That's what, you guys are
So then what's
cross-talking.
2,000? Oh, I see, thank you.
Yeah.
It's 2,000 then? I'm confused. The credit limit on there?
But I don't know. The credit limit's 2,000.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just informed
See,
that.
God, I feel like I'm in the middle of Twilight Zone.
The translating it, yeah, okay.
Because I asked for clarification on that too, and I believe Cindy looked in the minutes and said, no, you have a spending limit of 2,000. And I said, I wasn't aware of that, because I've never done that.
That's my main question. So
Would you like to move to approve that?
Who's going to move it? Who make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will
that.
second that motion.
And then all in favor? Aye. We're going to do roll call. Chairperson Kellogg?
Aye.
Don Wills?
Aye.
Okay, I say aye. Evelyn Tolles?
Aye.
Betty Sharp, Fred Sharp?
Aye.
And Bill Visceral?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed.
Yeah. I think we've pretty much covered almost everything, unless somebody else has got anything else they want to bring up. No? Well, in that case, I declare this meeting of the East Ending Park Commission to be over at 7:59 PM.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.